Hi guys, it's Mark Zickery, Mr. Sci-Fi, also known as Mark Zickery of Space Command. And I just wanted to give you an update in terms of last night's Alien high school play. I've been posting bits and pieces of it, and just the journey and where things are now. And first of all, it's just one thing I want to advise all of you is if you have a kind notion, act on it. If you've been following me for a while, you know that basically my stand in life is one toward compassion in my work and in my art and in my life. And the moment I saw that these kids were doing Alien as a high school play, I immediately booked a ticket to fly there to give support to them and to let them know that the world is their oyster, essentially, that anyone who says that you can't be something because that's no one in your family has done this, or because it's too big a dream, or who are you to think that you can pull something off. I want to let them know that the cage door is open, essentially. And I'm going to be there to advise them, to be of support to them. I invited them, all of them, to my round table. I gave them my home number and my email, and I just want to make sure that they have that support going forward. Certainly, their teachers have given them that. I talked with the Perfecto Cuervo, their English teacher and the director of the show, and who he adapted the feature film into a play. I had a wonderful breakfast with Steve Defendini, who's their art teacher, who oversaw them and built built the space jockey and the xenomorph and the spacesuits. And by the way, that is my favorite spacesuit design of all time, the Mobius design for Alien, and of course Giger's Alien and Facehugger and all that stuff. Phenomenal. And my friend Ron Cobb designed the Nostromo in the original film, and also reworked the facehugger design to give it more anatomical detail. So I emailed him. He's working on Space Command. He provided us with a great design for our Shrikes. So I emailed him and his wife, whom I've known since I was a teenager, and just to let them know I shouldn't send a photograph of the Nostromo that these kids had built and so forth. And this is just phenomenal. And I had no idea that Sigourney Weaver was going to surprise everyone and show up to the play. And that was, again, just, the cherry on top. Really wonderful. And what I did was, the way I scheduled my day and my trip was, I told Steve that I was there for them, for the kids. And so I made myself totally available. So I had breakfast with Steve yesterday, found out all about the production, and found out, what their needs were moving forward. And then I went to the high school, and I stayed there all day long. I talked to the kids. I advised them. I just answered any and all questions of not just the kids, but the teachers, etc. I mean, many of them, of course, are Star Trek fans, or Babylon 5 fans, or Space Command fans, in fact. And let me show you something. Hold on a second. I'll go get this. Hold on, guys. It's worth it. It's worth it. This is my VIP pass to the play, and and as you can see, that's photos of the cast. That's not a still from the movie. Isn't that wonderful? And that's this is the space jockey that they made, and the space suits, and just great. I mean, I'm gonna cherish this. I'll wear it home. And and then I stayed through the performance and the after party. And and again, I'm flying out today, but I've let them know that ongoingly they can reach out to me, they can contact me, they can ask questions. Perfecto is going to be teaching a screenwriting class, so I'm going to send the script of the Space Command pilot, along with the version that we've put out so far, and so that the students can compare what was written with the final product. And I've told them that if any of them want to come out for the July Space Command shoot, they'd be most welcome. Provided they get their parents' permission. I don't want someone to show up and then the parents call me frantically and saying, "Do you know where Joey is?" or whomever, and but running away to the circus. But I'm really glad I did this, and it wasn't. I mean, I wasn't here for any attention to be put on me, or do anything other than do what people like Ted Sturgeon and George Clayton Johnson and Harlan Ellison and all those wonderful writers that I grew up idolizing on Star Trek and Outer Limits and Twilight Zone. That's what they did for me when I was 15, 16 years old, when I started going to science fiction conventions and meeting them, and they were so informative. I grew up in LA, but I did not grow up in a showbiz family. So there was no one to open a door for me or say, you can be more than anyone in your family has been in terms of the reach you'll have to the world, the way your work will influence people. And Harlan and all of these people, for most part, they were self-made men and women as well. They didn't come from wealth. They didn't come from encouragement. I mean, George Clayton Johnson's mother was an alcoholic, and often there wasn't food in the house, and he made, and he wrote Kick the Can and Logan's Run and The Man Trap on Star Trek, and phenomenal writer. And, and he had to create that life, and he did. So I think, it's funny, I view myself as part of a tradition. So it's, Ray Bradbury encouraged George Clayton Johnson and Richard Matheson, Charles Beaumont, and, and then Ray and George and Matheson, Dick Matheson, encouraged me. And then I go on to encourage others. And so it's part of a grand tradition and a ripple effect. And of course, Edgar Rice Burroughs inspired Ray, though I don't think he ever met him, but he read John Carter of Mars and was inspired to start writing at 12 on a toy typewriter. And so, I'm very honored to be part of this. I'm very honored to, and I feel very much a kinship because, when they're throwing things together from nothing and making all these bits and pieces, I showed them the set design that Eric Rodriguez just sent us for our hibernation ship. And let's see if I can show it to you guys. It's very spectacular, and I love it. But again, what I'm doing is just what these kids are doing, what these teachers are doing. You have an idea, and it seems impossible, and then you pull it off. And that's what, and so, cadging stuff together. Like, for instance, if I see a sofa that someone's throwing out, and it's something I can use in a scene in Space Command, I'll grab it. So here's the, let me see if I can show this to you. You can see this on my Facebook page too, but isn't that spectacular? That's part of the hibernation ship we're going to be building. And Eric Rodriguez is a huge talent. And again, the fact that the Space Command team is all ethnicities, all races. Nathaniel Freeman, one of our cast members, he plays Chief Engineer Chilton on the Paladin. He was there last night, so I introduced him to the kids, and I introduced him to the teachers, and so forth. And again, to say, you can do this, to say we're going to be there every step of the way to help you. And if they want to build spacesuits for Space Command, yeah, absolutely. And or paint sets or anything, And I love being part of the world in this way. I love the fact that I'm not just at a studio cashing my checks, And I answered all their questions. I said nothing is off the table. You can ask me about anything. And and it was, and I kept saying to them, this is Hollywood. What you guys are doing is Hollywood. And I said, don't be beguiled by all the false promises. Don't be distracted by all the things that can break your heart. I said, just do your work and work with good people and create the work that's meaningful to you and will be meaningful to the world. And that's what they're doing now, and that's what they'll continue to do. We're all part of this wonderful tradition of science fiction, and Sigourney Weaver, of course, got it too. I mean, the fact that she showed up, and that wasn't a press stunt for her. She didn't have an entourage. She didn't have press come in with her, photographing her. No. If you even look at the clips of her on the news, they show her talking to the kids, but they're getting like a back view of her or a side view at best. She wasn't there for anyone but the kids, and neither was I. And so that's sort of the news from now. We're about to launch our Kickstarter campaign for Space Command to shoot the rest of Forgiveness. We're editing the Nichelle Nichols scene now. We're doing all the stuff that we need to do, and it's a great honor to be doing this, to be engaged in this. I was writing some of the new project I'm working on that we'll be announcing soon, and also working on the Greenlighting Yourself book on the airplane. And a little bit tired, but I'll be flying out to Atlanta in a couple days for the Doctor Who convention there, Who-Lanta, I think it's called, and Brian McClure and Ethan McDowell, two of our Space Command stars, will be there. We'll be showing the first hour of the pilot, and we're going to be also at the Omni Television Fest on May 1st, showing a very cool version that we've condensed because of the time slot, but it's going to be really, really super. And meanwhile, I'm just working on all the stuff I'm working on, and and talking. It was fun. It was also fun to talk Twilight Zone because one girl, Jess, she's 16, I think, and she loves the Twilight Zone, the original one, the black and white one. She would race home every day and put up an episode from Netflix to watch, and her sister would say, "Why are you watching that? It's black and white." And she said, "No, you gotta watch this. It's great. I'm watching it because it's great." And so we were on the same page. I mean, here we are talking about something that Rod did in 1959, 1960, and we're loving it because the work was done, and it was done well, and it was done right. And that's what these kids did last night with Alien. It was super. And I told them all that I knew Ron Cobb, and that I'd seen the 10 paintings that sold Alien as a movie when Dan O'Bannon had just commissioned them, and before the movie had sold. I was there at the very beginning when I was 16, and Ron Cobb was encouraging me. So I'm very glad that I'm here in New Jersey. I'm flying home today, and I'm coaching someone, and then I'm teaching a class with showrunners tomorrow. Just to again, it's paying it forward, it's paying it back, and that's wonderful. I'm very pleased to be able to do this. So subscribe to Mr. Sci-Fi. You can go on Patreon on Mark's Agree and help support all of this. You can buy Space Command shares at $7,500 each to keep the machine going, moving forward. I'm going to be shooting. We're still pitching Space Command. We're still talking to the guys in suits, but my goal is to film all 12 hours of the first season this year if we can, and keep moving forward. So that's it for now. Love the people who love you. Let them know you love them. Do kindnesses in every way that you can, and do good work. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.